The master continued, "There are some who come down, as it were, after attaining the knowledge of Brahman, after Samadhi, and retain the ego of knowledge or the ego of devotion. Just as there are people who, of their own sweet will, stay in the marketplace after the market breaks up. This was the case with sages like Narada. They kept the ego of devotion for the purpose of teaching men. Shankaracharya kept the ego of knowledge for the same purpose. God cannot be realized if there is the slightest attachment to the things of the world. A thread cannot pass through the eye of a needle if the tiniest fiber sticks out. The anger and lust of a man who has realized God are only appearances. They are like a burnt string. It looks like a string, but a mere puff blows it away. God is realized as soon as the mind becomes free from attachment. Whatever appears in the pure mind is the voice of God. That which is pure mind is also pure buddhi. That again is pure Atman, because there is nothing pure but God. But in order to realize God, one must go beyond dharma and adharma. The master sang in his melodious voice, "Come, let us go for a walk, O mind, to Kali, the wish-fulfilling tree, and there, beneath it, gather the four fruits of life." Sri Ramakrishna went out on the southeast veranda of his room and sat down. Pran Krishna and the other devotees accompanied him. Hazra too was sitting there. The master said to Pran Krishna with a smile, "Hazra is not a man to be trifled with. If one finds the big dargah here, then Hazra is the smaller dargah." Footnote: Big dargah, referring to himself. Footnote ends. All laughed at the master's words. A certain gentleman, Navakumar by name, came to the door and stood there. At sight of the devotees, he immediately left. "Oh, egotism incarnate," Sri Ramakrishna remarked. About 9:30 in the morning, Pran Krishna took leave of the master. Soon afterwards, a minstrel sang some devotional songs to the accompaniment of a stringed instrument. The master was listening to the songs when Kedar Chatterjee, a householder devotee, entered the room, clad in his office clothes. He was a man of devotional temperament and cherished the attitude of the gopis of Vrindavan. Words about God would make him weep. The sight of Kedar awakened in the master's mind the episode of Vrindavan in Sri Krishna's life. Intoxicated with divine love, the master stood up and sang, addressing Kedar. Tell me, friend, how far is the grove where Krishna, my beloved, dwells? His fragrance reaches me even here, but I am tired and can walk no farther. Sri Ramakrishna assumed the attitude of Sri Radha to Krishna and went into deep samadhi while singing the song. He stood there, still as a picture on canvas, with tears of divine joy running down his cheeks. Kedar knelt before the master. Touching his feet, he chanted a hymn. We worship the Brahman consciousness in the lotus of the heart, the undifferentiated, who is adored by Hari, Hara, and Brahma, who is attained by yogis in the depths of their meditation, the scatterer of the fear of birth and death, the essence of knowledge and truth, the primal seed of the world. After a time, the master regained consciousness of the relative world. Soon, Kedar took his leave and returned to his office in Calcutta. At midday, Ram Lal brought the master a plate of food that had been offered in the Kali temple. Like a child, he ate a little of everything.